On Christmas Eve, NYPD Detective John McClane travels to Los Angeles to reconcile with his estranged wife, Holly, at a holiday party hosted by her employer, the Nakatomi Corporation. McClane is picked up from the airport and driven to Nakatomi Plaza by limo driver Argyle, who offers to wait for him in the parking garage. While McClane freshens up, the building is taken over by German terrorist Hans Gruber and his armed team, including Carl and Theo. The group seizes the partygoers as hostages, but McClane evades capture, while Argyle remains unaware in the garage. Gruber masquerades as a terrorist, but is actually after $640 million in untraceable bearer bonds locked in the building's vault. After killing executive Joseph Takagi for refusing to reveal the access code, Gruber assigns Theo to hack the vault. When the terrorists discover McClane's presence, Carl's brother, Tony, is sent to eliminate him. McClane kills Tony, taking his weapon and radio, which he uses to alert the skeptical LAPD. Sergeant Al Powell is dispatched to investigate. Meanwhile, McClane eliminates more terrorists and seizes their bag of C4 and detonators. To convince Powell of the threat, McClane drops a terrorist's corpse onto his patrol car, prompting Powell to call for backup. A SWAT team attempts to storm the building, but is repelled by the terrorists. McClane uses the C4 to trigger an explosion, disrupting the counterattack. Holly's self-absorbed colleague Harry Ellis attempts to negotiate with Gruber, but is executed when McClane refuses to cooperate. Later, McClane encounters Gruber while inspecting the roof explosives. Gruber, pretending to be a hostage, tries to trick McClane, but the plan backfires when McClane hands him an unloaded gun. Gruber escapes with help from his team, injuring McClane and recovering the detonators. The FBI takes over, shutting off the building's power, which inadvertently unlocks the final barrier to the vault as Gruber had planned so his team can collect the bonds. The FBI agrees to Gruber's demand for a helicopter, intending to ambush him with gunships. McClane deduces Gruber's true plan: detonate the roof to kill the hostages and stage his team's escape. He drives the hostages off the roof just before Gruber detonates the explosives, destroying the approaching helicopters. While parked in the garage, Argyle watches the news on the limo's TV and finally realizes that terrorists have taken over Nakatomi Plaza. Determined to help, Argyle intercepts Theo as he tries to escape in an ambulance. He rams the ambulance with his limo and knocks Theo out with a punch to the jaw. Exhausted and wounded, McClane confronts Gruber and his last henchman, surrendering to save Holly. However, McClane uses a concealed pistol taped to his back to kill the henchman and wound Gruber. As Gruber falls out a window, he grabs Holly's wristwatch to save himself. McClane unclasps the watch, sending Gruber to his death. McClane and Holly, along with the hostages, make their way out of the building and are greeted by Powell. Carl, having survived, suddenly appears and tries to shoot McClane, but is shot and killed by Powell. Holly lands a punch on an intrusive reporter as Argyle crashes through the garage door in the limo. McClane and Holly climb in, sharing a kiss in the back as Argyle drives them away.